Dave, I don't know what it's been like for you, but after this Thursday-Monday game, it's been difficult for me to keep track of what day of the week it is. How has it affected your preparations going into Saturday?
It doesn't really affect it massively, it's just different. So I suppose as soon as you have a routine for our league is Saturday, Tuesdays, and that's how it works. Probably different for the Premier League players that get chucked games on all sorts of different days. But from our perspective, it's just different. Regardless, travelling back is always tough. But then I suppose the way we've worked it, the Thursday, Friday is a normal week, and we're back to Saturday games, albeit a little bit later than would normally be the case on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, as you say, live on Sky. It's the third game in a row now that you'd be kicking off at a later time than everyone else in League Two. Does that have an effect at all? Does it bother you at all?
If you want it to have an effect, it does. As I say, the other things in terms of when other teams play are outside of our control, so it makes no difference what they do. Fundamentally, the most important thing is what we do. So regardless of what happens before our game, after our game, the important thing is what happens during our game. So we've got to make sure that we're the best version of ourselves and we do what we can to win.
Going back to the last couple of games, the frustration from your point of view has obviously been that the first half performances at Salford and at Crawley. What do you put that down to? Because earlier in the season, strong starts were really a mark of that form that you went on. Yeah,
it's difficult to sort of put your finger on why that might happen. First half of games are normally closer and tighter affairs, if you like, because both teams are fresh, both teams are potentially a little bit more reserved in terms of looking at what the opposition might do. So you see lots of games of football, probably more games of football than not, are goalless at half time or a drawing, or the teams are drawing at half time. That tends to be the case. But we've just not taken advantage of, and more the fact gone a little bit away from what we've asked players to do. We spend a lot of time looking at opposition, recognising where our strengths correlate against their weaknesses and where we think we can get matchups that suit us based on the personnel we're going to play and the profile of those players. And in the, like I said, the last couple of games, we've not done that. Now, whether that's a little bit of to do with the scenario and the real desire to win, I completely can understand that. But it's important that we stick to what all the players stick to, in the main, what we're asking them to do, because, like I say, if that doesn't work, then fine, we can change things. There'll be moments in games where there is flexibility to go and see what, or play what you see, if you like. But if we'd have stuck to what we'd have asked them to do, which in the second half of both games we have done, then there's certainly been a different complexion on what the game looked like. I'm not in any way saying that it affects the result, but it gives us a better chance, because in the games, the last couple of games that we've drawn, have we scraped draws? No, absolutely not. Should we have potentially won both games? Yeah, absolutely. So that's I suppose the fine margins, the difference. If you look at data stats, compared to where we've been all through this season, the opportunities we're creating and the opportunities we're conceding is the biggest gap it's been all season. So we create good chances and we're not sticking them away, and we're being pretty meagre in terms of opportunities we're giving to opposition teams. So if we continue that, then eventually results go back in your favour. Performances haven't been any different than what they've been over the course of the season, and we've got to trust in the process of what we're doing in order to keep ourselves in the position we're in and get ourselves over that line.
And you mentioned fine margins there. It's been a league of fine margins this season, really. With that in mind, how pleasing was it on Monday night to get another goal from another well-worked set piece?
Yeah, set pieces are always important. We work hard at them. We work hard at analysing opposition and looking at where we can potentially get ourselves opportunities. You're then relying on the delivery and the movement to be done properly. The players did that really well and got the rewards from that. Again, disappointing there wasn't a winning goal, but ultimately put us into a winning position. And set pieces over the course of the season we've been very good at. I think we're one of the top teams in the league in terms of what that looks like, and not just goals scored from it, but chances created from it. And that's a, like I said, big resource for us, for goals, and that must continue, because we know that if we are solid and we are meagre in terms of the opportunities we have teams, then if a set piece can win us the game, then brilliant.
Looking ahead to this weekend, you mentioned Crosby and Powley possibly back. Are they still on track to potentially be involved?
Yeah, both potentially involved in the squad. Are they both 100% fit in terms of certainly not had any match minutes, but like I say, will be welcome additions back into the squad and gives us more experience and more potential opportunities to play in different ways. So we need to, I suppose, ease them back in and get them up to speed as quickly as possible. We know that going into April we have an awful lot of games, and the more players for us that are available, the better.
Yeah, Aki back on the grass as well too. How far away is he realistically?
Aki's not close, if I'm being honest. He's able to jog, to run if you like, but no high speed stuff. I think he'll be IKD tested in the next couple of weeks, but I wouldn't imagine we'll see him until maybe the last 2 or 3 games of the season at best. If it's before that, brilliant, but that's where my expectations are with that.
Any other concerns for Saturday? I know you mentioned on Monday a tight quad for Todd Kane.
We've got little bits, because we've or unfortunately in a situation where we've had players out injured over the course of the season, and once them players are coming back, you have to try and manage little, I wouldn't say comeback injuries, but little things that flare up when you're asking players to play consecutively and play lots of games in a short period of time. But that's the situation we're in, unfortunately. So we are a little bit needs must at the moment. We hope that over the coming weeks, certainly we'll get some more bodies back, which will give us more potential selections and more ways that we can go about things, and we'll cover eventualities if we do lose anyone. This season's been a tough season. Everyone's suffered. There's been more injuries than in any other season previously, and we've certainly felt that. We will get some players back, hopefully sooner rather than later, but you have to deal with what's in front of you, and that means that yes, there are some players that won't play tomorrow, but so what? You get on with it. We've got to deal with the cards we're dealt, and we'll go out and look to win the game, which will be massively important for us.
And looking at MK Dons, you obviously got that great win there back in September, which felt like a real catalyst, I suppose, for the run that you then went on. When you look at them now, is it fair to say there is a big contrast in terms of how they approach games back then under Graham and how they do now under Mike Williamson? There
is, in terms of, I suppose, all-out philosophies of Graham and Mike. They're not too dissimilar in terms of personnel. They're not too dissimilar in terms of their shape. Back three, they've brought players in the window, which strengthened them. Obviously, brought players back from Dan Kemp on loan, although he may not play in the game. I think he got picked up a knock at the back end of their previous game, but they have changed a little bit and play out more than maybe they did. But they still post threats. They post threats back in whenever it was, September, October, when we played them. They're just different threats. So we know what we're coming up against. I think 2 good teams, 2 teams that are rightly where they sit in the table. But we've got to focus on us. We're at home. Our home games, like I say, our last 4 home games are going to be really, really important. No more so than tomorrow. So fingers crossed we are fit, healthy, and we put in a performance that is able to get us 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned on Monday it's potentially a game that they need to win more than you do, maybe a must not lose from your point of view, but in fairness, I don't think we've ever gone into a league game with that kind of mindset whilst you've been here.
No, listen, that doesn't suit what we're about, and we're certainly not gung-ho with the way we go about things, but we're a front foot team. I think we're better when we're on the front foot. I think we're better when we're aggressive and we're able to press. We'll have to pick our moments. Don't get me wrong. I think the game will be similar at times to what Notts County was when we played at home. So you've got to pick your moments to go and put pressure on, or be organised and be compact. That'll be key for us out of possession. But yeah, we're absolutely at home. We want to get our supporters in the game. They'll play a massive part in what we do over the last 4 games. We do that by being us and not being afraid of anybody at home, respecting what teams do, but ultimately backing ourselves.
Appreciate your time, Dave. Thank you.
Welcome. Cheers. Thank you.